Reaction to this latest announcement. I'm joined by business IT expert Jamal Ahmed. Jamal, good to see you. How disruptive then will this U-turn be?
This will cause a massive amounts of disruption and long-term delays, years of delays for businesses and individuals who want data quickly, who want to share data easily, and who want to be able to stream devices instantly. Huawei have been providing components for our telecommunications in the UK here over the last 15 years. Now, the government said what they want to do by the end of 2027 is to strip all of those components out and replace it with products from other competitors. Now, the most important thing here to understand is that Huawei spent 11 billion in 1 year alone on research and development. Now, that's more than companies like Apple, and that's twice as much as any other company that it competes with. So the technology that Huawei provide is far more superior and far more advanced than any other competitor on the market at the moment. So taking that away from the UK, taking that away from British hands means we are going to be put into the slow lane. We are going to have to wait a long time. And what we can look forward to is lots of outages.
Really? Blackouts then for us using our mobile phones?
That's correct. As BT start rolling out the removal of those components, given that these components have been in place for the last 15 years, and where we've seen Sony Ericsson components being used, we've had experience of outages, and there should be no surprises when we start experiencing outages going forward.
This isn't happening overnight. This is a gradual process over 7 years. Can't tech firms actually cope with that change?
So the deadline to take out 20 years worth of infrastructure over 7 years, including all of the ongoing maintenance, is going to put a big strain on companies like BT and Vodafone, whose job it is going to be to remove those parts and replace them with something else. Now, given the huge amount of work there, BT said it would take them between 10 and 15 years to be able to put that in place. Asking them to do that in 7 years is only going to result in them having to take those out so that they don't break the law and they can comply with the law rather than face fines or any other enforcement action. So they're going to be taking those masts down to comply with the law, which means people will be left without a connection.
Jamal, there are strong suspicions that the Chinese could use this to spy on us. And of course, Huawei says it's not a risk to national security, despite also, of course, what the US is saying. But technologically, what is the situation here?
So technologically, the situation here is very simple. Huawei will provide, or Huawei was going to provide, non-component parts, which is hardware, to transmit data very, very efficiently. Now, there is a law in China that says that any data that's transmitted via a Chinese company using their hardware, that has to be handed over to the Chinese authorities up on demand. And this is where the concerns and the worries come from, is that at any point China could say, look, we want this data, give it to us. Now, Huawei say over the last 15 years, they've shown that that has never happened, and there has been no evidence of Huawei having any data breaches or handing any of that data over to the Chinese authorities. But at the same time, what's important to understand is that governments that don't create, or countries that don't create telecommunications technology, such as the UK, we can still monitor telecommunications. Our national intelligence services are monitoring telecommunications without having to produce that. And no transmission of data is ever going to be 100% secure anyway. But what's really interesting is that back in February, when Boris Johnson first decided he was going to review Theresa May's decision about using Huawei for the non-component parts, the NCSC, the National Cybersecurity Center, said they had robust measures in place to mitigate against any of those risks. And if any data was to be leaked to the Chinese government, they would find that out very quickly, and it would only be just for that moment in time, because they'd be able to detect it and do something about it straight away.
Right. Just one final thought then. Surely this is an opportunity for UK tech companies here. You say Huawei are a world-class world leader in what it does, but surely now this is the chance for UK companies to step up the mark.
There is an opportunity here for companies in the UK or anywhere else to actually step up. But however, what we know is that the closest competitors to Huawei are Ericsson and Nokia. And even then, they are many years behind the advancements that Huawei has made. So a new company starting up and trying to learn all of that without the 11 billion that Huawei have been spending on research and development over the years, every year, unless someone's going to be providing those resources, we are going to be a very long way away from what Huawei would be able to provide for us.
Jamal Ahmed, thank you very much. Very interesting to talk to you today. Thanks for being with us. And